macOS 26 has now been officially released to the public, which means that you can now go into your settings and do a software update over the air. These are the devices compatible with this new software update, and in this video I'm going to be telling you all the new features and changes that you need to know. Quick disclaimer, there's actually a ton of new features and this is going to be the biggest update for the next coming year. We begin with the design changes, and Apple this year has a theme going on with all their devices, iOS, macOS, tvOS, and it's called liquid glass. So if you look at my top menu bar right there, you can see the different icons, and you can see when I click on them, they come to the forefront, but they don't have like a bar behind them. They allow me to see what the wallpaper is, and that's also true when it comes to the control center. So you can see the icons are more like floating icons, and it gives it this unique minimalistic look. To have a quick look at this liquid design theme, you can see, for example, if I open up the music app, I can go, down like this. As I scroll, you can see this media control bar. It still is like a little bit frosted. The first beta of this update was pretty much like liquid glass itself, but now it's more like frosted glass. But it gives you a glimpse of what you can see, because as I scroll up and down, you can see the text and sort of the other words, in the background a little bit. And as I go through the different albums and the different icons that you see right there, it shows. And if I scroll this side, you still see that it's blurred a little bit, but you get to see how the liquid glass theme is showing with this new update. When it comes to wallpapers and screensavers, Apple has made a change, because now instead of having two different subsections, one for wallpaper and other for screensavers, now it's combined just under wallpaper. So if you go to the wallpaper section, you can see now you have the ability to change your screensaver from this section, and at the same time you can see the wallpaper that Apple has added for macOS Tahoe. And then if you go down a little bit to the landscape section, you can see that Apple has added different variants of this Tahoe landscape screensavers and wallpapers. So on the wallpapers, you can see Tahoe day, this is how it looks. You have Tahoe morning, this is how it looks. I think morning looks great. You have Tahoe evening, Tahoe night, and they've also added a few others across different countries that you might be able to see. For example, if you're in India, you'll be able to recognize some new landscapes there. But I think for now, we'll just keep Tahoe morning just like this. And if I minimize this window, you can see how this looks. There's no doubt that this new software update is going to enhance your user experience, but something else that you can do to even give yourself better experience is to update your hardware. And that's where this guy comes in. This is the Silkland 8K HDMI 2.1 cable. Here's a quick fun fact. Did you know that only 1% of HDMI cables have passed the HDMI 2.1 certification? This standard advances connectivity, offering 48 gigabits per second of bandwidth, eARC, Dolby Atmos, HDR10, VRR, and higher resolutions. And this cable is HDMI 2.1 certified. It also has 10K compatibility, and that is all thanks to the 48 gigabits per second transfer rate that allows support for resolutions up to 10K, which means that you can meet the most demanding visual applications, including large digital signage, high-end gaming monitors, and cutting-edge cinematic performances. The enhanced audio return channel, eARC, sends high sound quality like Dolby Atmos and DTS:X to your ears, immersing you in the middle of the action. The HDMI 2.1 cable takes the home entertainment experience to the cinematic level, giving you the highest quality possible. This cable is also optimized for gaming monitors with support for refresh rates up to 240 Hz and 4K at 144 Hz or at 4K 120 Hz. The HDMI 2.1 cable tests the limits of your PS5 or gaming console that you might have, ensuring a visual experience without interruption or artifacts like what you would see if you use like a cheaper random HDMI cable. So if you want to elevate your user experience, not just through a new software update, but your hardware as well, then check out the new Silkland 8K HDMI 2.1 cable. I'll leave link in the description of this video where you can check it out. Now, to keep you updated as well, since the screensavers are here, so you can go in here and you can have a preview of the, for example, Tahoe day, and this is how it looks. You can see it's like cinematic, and all those different variants of macOS Tahoe day, Tahoe morning, night, evening that we saw, you have the ability to select them as your screensaver and wallpaper at the same time. One of the biggest changes that macOS 26 has to offer is in the appearance tab, because now they're trying to mimic what is on iOS 26 and iPadOS 26. So now if you go into your settings and you go to the appearance section, you can see now you have different set of selections that you can choose on how your icon and widgets will appear. And so you can see how default looks. Just look at my dock right here. So this is default, and then if I select dock, you can see even the settings, some of the menu applications and settings, they turn to the dark mode. And then if you give it a bit of time, you can see even my dock changes. If we go to the new app section, you can see how this changes and it looks dark as well. So now if we don't like dark and we want to select clear, we quickly select that, and now you can see it's changing all these icons. This is more like a minimalistic look, and you can see they have this like shadowy look, and the different apps as well, you can see how they look. Kind of slow when you do multiple changes at the same time, one after another, since I'm testing this as well, but you can see how this one looks. And then the last one is tinted. So if I select tinted, just like what you see right here, you can see my dock apps have all become red, and actually it's some sort of pink, which is what I selected. And you can see also my system menu settings, they've also changed color to the pink one. And the good thing about this one, you have the ability to select auto and it will change according to your selection. So different variants of pink. So during the day it will give you like a lighter pink, and then during the evening or late hours it will give you a darker shade of pink, which is what you are now seeing right here. But if you don't like that color, you can choose any of the colors right here, or you can set it to automatic. But at the same time, it gives you the ability to choose colors, and you can use the color picker. Like if you have something on your desktop, for example, where you want to match the color, let's say I want to match this water right here, or maybe I want to match the mountain right there, I can choose that, and then I can select it as my color. And now you can see the color that I've chosen is this one, and to tell you that this is a selected color, but you can see all these have changed. And if I wanted to switch between a lighter shade of that color and the darker shade, depending on the time, of course, then it's going to do this. And this will also affect my dock and the different apps that I have in the app section, which we are going to be talking about pretty soon. Among the many changes that macOS 26 introduces for the Mac, there's actually one which I don't like that much, and that's the fact that Launchpad is no longer available on the Mac. It's been killed and it's been replaced by something called apps. So if you look at my window right here, you can see this tab, it's called apps, and if I click on it, this is how it opens. So it's some sort of like floating window that opens up, and you can drag it and place it wherever you want. Previously with Launchpad, it used to take the whole screen, but this one is like just a floating window. And then if you click anywhere, for example, if I click on the desktop, it just disappears. If I open up settings, for example, and then I click on the apps window, you can see how it pops up right here. It comes to the forefront. And then if I click on the settings, for example, this is how it disappears, and the settings continues to be the main focus. So you do have to quickly open it, look for what you want, and then select it. And one of the other things that I wanted to highlight, which a lot of users aren't too happy about, but some are happy, is the fact that Apple has changed a lot of the app icons that are now here with macOS 26. So I did a whole video comparing each icon from the previous macOS with this new update that we have today, and there are a lot of changes that you can see. So now you have more rounded icons. Certain applications have received total design changes, while others have remained pretty much more or less the same. And you have some new applications that were not there on macOS that have been introduced for the first time on this update. And so I did a whole video comparing all these icons, and if you are interested in looking at the full video, I'll leave it in the description below so that you can check it out. Finder has also received some updates, and among those is the ability to customize folders and each icon. So for example, you can say I created a bunch of new folders right here. So if I right click on it, I have the ability to customize the folder and the color. So if I want this folder to be red, I can just select red. If I want this one to be orange, I can select that. Or remember, in my system preferences, if I want to choose a folder color, I can go here and choose a custom folder color depending on what I want right there. So if this is one of those custom colors that you see right here, if I also want to, like, let's say for example, make this green, and then I'll choose this one, maybe I'll make it purple. You can see how the different colors look, but it's not just the colors that you can change. For example, if I click on this one, instead of just changing the color, or maybe I'll make it like gray, and at the same time I want to customize it and set an icon on the face of the folder. So if I go under the color picker and say customize folder, now it gives me this option where I can basically choose the color from here or choose additional colors, and at the same time I have the ability to choose like an icon to be the face of that folder. So let's say for example, this is a folder about cooking or some recipes. I can select that icon like this, and then if I select it, you can see the folder icon has changed. I can go to this one as well, for example, and then go and customize it. And let's say this is about, you know, pets and animals, and you can see how those look. And now if I'm looking for a folder that is about food, I can always go to this one, open it, and see if it's about pets or any other that you want to customize right here. It gives you the ability to do that, which will help you save time if you have color coded folders for certain functions or certain type of data. One of the biggest changes that macOS 26 introduces has to do with Spotlight search. So check this out. On your keyboard, if you press Command and spacebar, Spotlight search shows up, and it doesn't look to be doing anything much because now it just looks like the old Spotlight search that we used to have. But the moment I move my cursor on the keyboard, it splits into different other functions. So now if I drag my mouse right here, it shows that this is application, this is files, and this is actions. What this means, just to demonstrate, for example, if I press Command+1, now Spotlight search is just searching for applications exclusively. So I can search, for example, something like music or so on. I noticed with this update, it's kind of slow when you do it this way. And then if I want to go back, I just have to press Escape. And then at the same thing, if I press Command+2, now it's searching for files. So you can see the different files that it's found right here. So whatever I search in the top Spotlight search bar, it's going to just search for files exclusively, and it will give you like a quick run out of what you can search for. So preview, PDFs, and other data types that you can search. And then if I want to go back, I'll press Escape. Now the next thing is Command+3. So if I press Command+3, this is the Actions tab, and you can see macOS has preloaded certain suggestions that it thinks, you know, I might use depending on the different functions that I do mostly. So send a message, start a timer, create a note, send an email, events, and you can see even certain app functions are there, such as ChatGPT and so on. So if we go to the top one, for example, where it says send a message, we want to add a quick key. So if I just press maybe NM just like this, now if I put the action NM in there, and you can see, and now I can quickly just type the message and say let's say what's up, just like this, and I can choose the recipient right here. And if I want multiple recipients, I can do that. So the first recipient, let's say Frank, for example, and the second recipient, I can say Eric, for example. No recipient found, but this is just a demo to show you how you can quickly set up different actions within this actions for Spotlight search. And it doesn't end there. There is a fourth option, which is the one that has the clipboard option, but that option only saves the last 8 hours, and after you restart your device, I believe it loses your previous clipboard history, and it clears it every 8 hours as well. So there is Command 4, but if I press on it, since I don't have any clipboard history, now I won't be able to see that. But with macOS, it's limited in the sense that it only gives you 8 hours history, and then every time you restart your device, it loses that history. But hopefully Apple fixes that with a software update. On macOS 26, I'm happy to let you know that shortcuts has been improved. So now you get automations on the Mac. So now you can see you have the gallery, and under that you have automations. And under this automation section, if I just center this window like this, I can create a new automation. So for example, if it's something about time of day and or an alarm or an email, a message, a folder, a file, different settings, or charge when my Mac is connected, or turn on a certain focus mode, you have the ability to do that. There are channels that are focused mainly on automations that will show you the ability to unlock the power of automations that are now available on the Mac. Just like what you could previously do with your iPhone, now you have the ability to do the same on macOS 26. Another cool thing that macOS 26 adds are the different animations. So for example, if I click the volume up, you can see how it animates in and animates out. It used to be more animated within the betas of macOS 26, specifically between beta 1 and beta 4, but you can see when I click the volume rocker, you know, it sort of animates in and animates out. And if I change the brightness, you can see how it's changing right there. And also, just like you have live activities on your iPhone, like if you're watching like certain sport and you're keeping tabs on the score, or if you have an Uber Eats or skip the dishes order and it's coming to you, you'll still be able to see that same live activity on your Mac, so that if you don't have your iPhone close by and maybe you have your Mac, it will show up right there in the top menu bar, and you can click on it and it will give you real-time live updates. The next thing we want to talk about is the control center that has been liquid glassified in a way. So now you can see how it looks. It still allows you to see through, you know, like I can still see between these tabs that, oh, this is a tree behind. It's not like it has a white border behind that. And at the same time, if we go to where it says edit controls right there, and I click where it says edit, you can see it now gives me the ability to add different controls. So now I can create multiple pages within the control center, which is something that's great. And if you see a function or a control that you want to add, for example, you can just drag and drop it right there, and it gives you icons that you can set. So for example, if it's an icon in this top menu, you can select it there. You can see different for like homes, for favorite, for browser, and a collection of both. And as you select the difference, you'll be able to see that there's an animation at the top here that mimics that same control center menu to give you that option. And adding options is really easy. So the one that I added for timer, you can see if I now click on this tab, because we added one icon, I can click on it, and then if I want to add more, let's say for example I want to add another icon for low battery, I can drag it and then I'll put it there. A voice memo, I'll drag it and put it there on our second control center menu that we are creating in addition to our main one. So our main one will still be there. So if I tap this, you see it coming and it's going depending on what I need. And we still have this one right there, which I can click and access. So if it's certain applications or certain functions that I want to create just a customized control center in the top menu bar for quick access, I can do that with this update, which is really good and will save you like a lot of time. If I want to remove just this control, I can remove everything from it just like this. And if I click on my desktop just like this, you can see that icon that was associated with those custom control center has basically been removed. And it's pretty simple to add and edit because it gives you the ability to edit your controls, and whatever you do, you can always, and whichever function you want to demonstrate or add to your control center, it gives you the ability to basically just drag and drop. So it's good that way. And if there's something that's already existing in your control center and you want to add it to your top menu bar, it's a simple drag and drop. So let's say I want to change my focus and add it to the top menu bar. You see, if I just drop it there, it automatically adds it to the top menu bar. And if I want to take something from the top menu bar and add it to my control center, I can easily do that. And this is something that's good and really improves the control center in a way and makes it more functional, especially if you create your own custom control center menus for the top menu bar, where you can quickly access different functions without having to go into settings, look for different apps. Among the many new things that macOS 26 added, they also added a couple of new applications. So one of them is this phone app that you are going to be seeing in a sec. When you open it up, this is how it looks. So it gives you your recents, which is what you are seeing right here. And at the top, if you have certain saved contacts as your favorites or your quick access contacts on your iPhone, it's quickly going to mimic that. And also you have the ability to access your missed calls, your voicemails as well. And if you have unknown callers, you can actually see those right there. And it also gives you the ability to manage filtering. So if I go to that settings and go to where it says calls, I can basically have the same settings that I see on my iPhone. So calls from iPhone, you can use your iPhone cellular account to make and receive calls when your iPhone is nearby or on Wi-Fi. You can hold assist detection. So this is a new feature that was added where automatically detect when you are placed on hold and you can step away. Your Mac will notify you when it's time to pick up, so that you don't have to waste time staying there and being on hold. It's not time efficient. And you have live voicemails as well for the Mac that's here. And if you have an unknown caller or a spam person that keeps bugging you, you have this setting that allows you to now silence unknown callers, or you can ask for a reason, or if you want to keep it the way it used to be, you can set it that way. So if you set this option that says ask reason for calling, your Mac is automatically going to pick up the call. And by the way, it's doing this powered by continuity from your iPhone, which makes it possible to make these cellular calls on the Mac. So without your iPhone nearby or connected to your Mac, you won't be able to make calls on your Mac, which you need to know. So this is ask for a reason, or if it's an unknown caller and you want to silence them, you have the ability to do that. Now, if I click on this tab right here, you can see it gives me the dialer. So if I wanted to call like my favorite number or something like that, I can quickly make a call from my Mac without ever having to touch my iPhone. Another new app that was introduced to the Mac is this Games app. So when you open it for the first time, it's going to give you a splash screen, and actually most of the new apps that you see right here are going to give you a new splash screen just to tell you what's new with macOS 26. So this is a one-stop gaming destination that will help you discover the latest updates across your games, such as end game events, major updates, new games available. It will also notify you if your friends that you play with in the game center are online, and it will give you the ability to access your library, your arcade. So if I go to arcade and I have the arcade subscription, you'll be able to see your favorite games up top. And if you don't have it, it will obviously invite you to do that. If I go to the friends tab, you can see some of the games right there that I think most of my friends are playing. I can choose to see which friend are playing this game, also begin to challenge them. And if I want to invite friends to play together, I have the ability to do that way. I click this add button, and then games are better with friends, play games together, compare scores on leaderboards, and see what friends are playing. And I can invite friends via messages and search up contacts right there, which is something that's good. And then if I go to the library tab, it shows you your games right here, and you can see some of the games that I used to play. Another new app that has been added to the Mac is called the magnifier. You can see how it looks. It just has, like, you see, if this is my Mac's camera that you see right there, and this app lets you use the built-in camera, or if you have an attached USB-C or USB camera, or even if your iPhone is close by, it will allow you to use your iPhone's camera via continuity to view your surroundings and allow you to zoom in. So even though this is my Mac's built-in camera that you see right there, it gives me the ability to zoom in just like this and zoom out as well. So if you have vision problems, or you need things up close, or you forgot your glasses, this is something something that you can use to be able to zoom in. You can adjust brightness, contrast, color filters, and even perspectives, and it's here to help people with low vision. If I click on this tab, it takes a picture, and if I go to this picture, you can see it's called an edited one. If I go to this tab that says camera, I can select this, and now if I choose a different camera like my iPhone 16 Pro, I can choose it just the camera, or if I want to have it do desk view, it can do that. So let's just say the normal iPhone 16 camera, I'll select it like that, and my iPhone's tone just went off. And if I go now to the live tab, you can see this is my iPhone that you are seeing right here, and I'm recording this video demonstrating the magnifier app on macOS 26. So it's just a simple demonstration using the iPhone camera. If you, all these other iPhones that you see here that I'm signed in with the same account that my Mac is signed in, I have the ability to do that and bring it into the magnifier. So look, for example, on my iPhone, if I want to zoom in, for example, ooh, look at this, it zooms in so much. And if it's something I wanted to look into in my surroundings, I can be able to do that. If I want to see, you know, let's see, let me count the beards that I have. If you want to do that, you know, it just gives you an idea of what's here. And if you have a USB camera as well, you can connect it and use the magnifier app to help you view your surroundings, and it's meant to help people with low vision. A new app also available on the Mac that a lot of users have grown to love is the Journal app, and it's available on the Mac. So now you have the ability to open it up with needing an iPhone, and now when you open it up, you're going to welcome to a new splash screen. But after the new screen, it gives you the ability to capture and write about everyday moments using special events. You can use photos, videos, audios, and you can record and add places and location tags as well. So pretty much the same that you could do on your iPhone and iPad. You have the ability to create new journal entries, and you know how you use this app. You create your journal name, and then you can begin creating the journal for the day, for the event, or maybe for something special. Let's talk about messages, because just like the phone app, messages also got some updates. So just like what you have on iOS 26, if you make a change to a certain chat in your messages app, the same change that you make, for example, the background that I have in this message right here, I didn't make it on the Mac, I made it on the iPhone, and automatically, because of continuity, it's now changed the background of this chat that you see right here. So you can see the background chat color is different, it's been brought forward. And at the same time, in messages, it gives you the ability for screening or filtering, and I can access that by going to where it says manage filtering. It opens this menu that you see right here, and under this section you have a tab that allows you to screen unknown senders. So if you enable this, you'll be able to see that your inbox and messages changing, because if you have something or someone in your inbox that sends you a message and you don't have their number saved on your contacts list or in your iCloud contact, it's automatically going to put them in an unknown sender folder, and you can access that once you turn it on by going to these three lines, and you will see unknown senders. And this, if I select that, is where you see all these unsaved chats and numbers that you see right here. A lot of spam calls right there, but from my experience, what I notice is that when I have this set on, I do miss like a lot of messages, because not everyone that texts me something important I have saved in my contacts. So for me personally, I ended up changing this and turning it off. But you also have the ability to summarize messages and notify me when my mention is mentioned in a group. So I'll turn off this screen unknown callers. And one of the other things that I wanted to highlight that's here in messages, if you receive a message that is in a different language from that which is your primary language that your device is set in. Live translation will translate that message into, let's say for example, someone sends me Spanish, it will translate it from Spanish to English. So live translation will automatically translate messages from friends, and FaceTime live captions will be translated from multiple different languages to that which you have your device set to. Another new change that's here is Genmoji. So you can see now Genmoji has a new splash screen that you see, so you can mix and match by combining existing emojis or add a short description to create something new. You have personalized emojis where you can add people from your photo library and customize Genmoji with expressions or personal attributes. You can use Genmojis like emojis, add to a message, respond with a tap back, or share a sticker. And if I click continue right here, you can see how the new outline for Genmoji looks. So if I combine these two emojis, it's gonna try and combine like the card that I send and the fire, and it's gonna give me a suggested Genmoji that I can then send to this chat right here. And now you can see what it created, a car on fire right there. If I continue to right click, then it's gonna create multiple different variations of this Genmoji. But this is a good Genmoji. Now that I see it, I like it, I can add it like this, and if I send it to this chat, now my friend gets a Genmoji about a car that's on fire. And this is a good thing that allows you to mix and match, and now your creativity can pretty much be endless. Also in messages, you get typing indicators in groups to let you know when you can chime in, or if you feel like chiming in would disturb the conversation, you'll be able to see that typing indicator. If your name is mentioned in a chat, you also get an indicator to let you know of that, just in case you need to respond. Let's talk about Image Playground, because it's been updated and is much better. So now Apple has added multiple different options. If I go to where it says edit this existing image that I've created, you can see it's now given me the same image. It seems to be much faster than what we used to have previously. And now if I go to create an image, I have the ability to choose illustration, so animation, illustration, sketch. These were all existing from the previous macOS version, but now you have Genmoji as an option right there. So these inputs that I've put in right here, it will try and make a Genmoji from the input commands that I've selected or that I've provided. And now you can see the Genmoji make a picture of a green car on a rainy day, you know, during like on the beach or something like that. And this is what it's created. And it doesn't end there with just Genmoji. You now have ChatGPT, which gives you more ChatGPT styles. So for example, if I wanted to make this an oil painting, thanks to the power of ChatGPT, it's going to use it and make an oil painting. I noticed that if you use ChatGPT, it takes more time, and you can see it says creating image with ChatGPT. And depending on the server and how many users are creating or generating images with ChatGPT, I noticed that this tends to delay much more. And so just to show you some other options that you have when you select ChatGPT, oil painting, you also have watercolor, you have vector, anime. I think anime is another good one as well, and you have print. So I gave it some time, and this is what it's created using the anime ChatGPT selection. So this just goes to show you how many other possibilities there could be when you use the image playground, you harnessing the power of ChatGPT to create different emojis, animes, or whatever the theme you want to be. Within the passwords app, we also have another change. So if you access a certain password, you now have the ability to view history that will show you when the password was changed. So this one happens to be changed 2 months ago. Within the App Store, they've also made additional changes for accessibility. So now when you open up the App Store, you can choose any app of your choice, and under the description of the app, just below the app privacy practices, now there's this accessibility tab where developers can indicate which accessibility features that app supports, so that users can foresee before downloading to find if the app is going to be useful for them before downloading it and wasting space and time, if they have certain accessibility requirements that they need for that app. FaceTime has been updated. This is the FaceTime window that you see right here. So it has a new tile design that features a beautiful and personalized photo contacts that you see right here. So some of these you can personalize, or if the user or the contact updates them in the background on their end and you synchronize it to automatically update the tile or the card right here. The moment you open up Photos for the first time, you will be welcomed to a new splash screen that's going to tell you what's new in Photos. So you have collections that now come to Mac, where you can browse a library by recent days and your favorite groups of people, trips, and more. You have pinned collections that you can now add, customize your view, and improve landmark search. And if I click done, you can see how the Photos toolbar looks. You have more options right there for screen recordings and others that have been added. And then if I click on this line, you can see favorite, edited photos, videos, screenshots, among others, and it just makes it easier for you to find your favorite photos by adding additional sorting options. Reminders have also been updated, so when you open it up, you get to see what's new in Reminders, where it has the ability to auto categorize, so Apple Intelligence, to group related reminders into sections together, harnessing the power of Apple Intelligence. You have suggested reminders, where Apple Intelligence will suggest a to-do list depending on what you have as your reminders, and it will be able to look into your text messages on your device and then create an associated reminder to send to you. You have create in Spotlight and time zones in Reminders, where you can set a time zone for a reminder to get an alert aligned to that specific region. Let's say you want to track a specific flight or text someone at a specific time, it gives you the ability to do that. Another thing I wanted to highlight is Safari, because the Safari version has been updated. Not too many changes with Safari this time around, but the version that we have, if you go to About Safari, you can see it's version 26, and this is the current build number that you see right there. So in brief, those are the many new features and changes that are here when it comes to macOS 26. There's a couple more minor ones that I might have missed, but these ones are the main one that macOS 26 brings for your device. Let me know among these which one is your favorite, and at the same time, if you like this video, definitely do hit like, and what's even better, if you enjoyed it, you can give us a hype to give the video more exposure. Other than that, that's it for me. Now I'll be creating my next video, which is going to be for tvOS, watchOS, and the next one is also going to be about iOS as well. If you want to see videos on those platforms, definitely do subscribe so that you don't miss out.